So I'm in the middle of like this debate, and nobody has rebuttals. I put it out twice. Got two opponents. Let's just see how we can address it. It's the one on NUKE in Germany. And you think that somebody would have a good argument against killing 90 million people. Or 80 million, whatever it is. However many of you guys are over there in Germany. But nobody seems to have a good argument against it. We have American debater who has decided to give up because I said his IQ was less than 120. Sorry, buddy. I did make a rule that you must be male and have an IQ of 120 or above, or you forfeit a conduct point. So he could have argued that his IQ is above 120, or he could have said, okay, I sacrificed the conduct point. You're right, but I will still defeat you. And he could have made an argument. But he decided to quit the debate. And I don't buy this bullshit that he's saying where he's like, oh no, I'm not going to do it because you're not going by the rules. No. Because then you would just argue I broke the rules, some sort of rules, and you would have argued for a conduct point in your favor. You know you can't win. Let's be honest here. Okay, so the other debate, somebody else accepted the other one. This person's behaved in an honorable way, okay? This person's not like American debater. What is their name? Their name is Pavi. And they said, I realize this debate is impossible to win, and would unfortunately like to forfeit. That's fair, okay? It's not impossible to win, by the way, but I do understand if they are unsure about how to go about winning. It's fine, because it's a confusing debate. What is the debate again? The debate is, and I go over this in the video, but about whether we should nuke Germany. If there exists, under the following scenarios, if there exists a man in Germany who has a 1 in a million chance of creating a doomsday device who will destroy the world if successful. 2, the identity of the guy is unknown, but he is definitely in Germany, and a nuke would definitely kill him. And 3, this does not set up a chain reaction that causes any countries to begin nuking others other than those of us nuking Germany. That's the video I do on it. We go into, and I'm going to debunk my own argument. And I'm just going to quickly do it because I don't feel like spending a bunch of time on it, and I don't feel like doing the research necessary to actually debunk this like I should. So we're just going to debunk it fast. Alright? And maybe I'll take it point by point. Let's listen. I don't want to have you guys listen to it too much. But so in the debate, there's an argument for utilitarianism. And there's an argument that future lives should count just as much as current lives. And so if we look at how we can prevent, if preventing something that has a 1 in a million chance of happening has the EV of, here's the EVs of each decision, according to that argument. And we'll go over why that's wrong, or it doesn't matter. EV. This is lives saved by taking it. EV of prevented disaster is 692 lives saved on average. And the EV of nuking is definitely 80 million lost. So we have a definite 80 million loss with a potential of saving 692 overall. And so it's not very good. Good odds unless you consider future people. There's some issues with this though. One of the issues is, let me put it back here. One of the issues with taking, well, let me just explain like a little story first, because that's going to help you get into the flaw in this argument. Because it's easier to notice the flaw when you put the story like this. There is sometimes get a little lost when I start talking. Wrong debate. What does it call it? No, not Pareto. We're going to find out what I was talking about. Pascal's mugging. Okay, and we won't go into Pascal's arguments, but I thought you called me. Oh, nice. Okay, so Pascal's argued that I guess a similar argument in a way that he said that because there's infinite amount to gain if you believe in Jesus Christ and accept Him as your Lord and Savior. There's an infinite amount of gain and not much to lose. You only lose like what, an 85-year life on average, probably 50 years back then. But if you believe in Jesus Christ, you get infinite time. So the reward, it's infinite reward compared to very little sacrifice. So if that's the case, why not make the sacrifice? It's just a good bet. Pascal's wager. And the response to Pascal's wager, and this is what we're essentially doing here too. We have the number I showed you is not too far from infinite, like in not strictly, but like just as far as what humans can comprehend. The number I talked about was pretty close to infinite, and so the argument is that we can trade almost any amount of lives on Earth for the benefit of these infinite lives down the road. So the first response would be the same response that a lot of people would give to Pascal's wager, which is something called Pascal's mugging. So you can imagine Pascal, this guy who's doing this sort of math, walking down a back alley, and a mugger shows up. The mugger goes, "Hey, I forgot my knife. I forgot my gun. But I still don't mug you." So Pascal would be like, "Okay, well, and let's assume Pascal can easily beat up this guy or get away from him." Pascal would go, "Well, hold on. I don't see any reason why I give you my money." And so the guy says, "Well, what if I give you $10? Or $10 more than what I take from you? Or 10 times more than what I take from you?" Pascal might go, "Well, that's not enough." And you don't know if the promise is going to pay off, but you do know that you got a loss. Let's say it's $20 in your wallet. You get $20 in wallet and a potential gain of 30. It's not worth the risk. But the mugger can just keep going up and up until the money is virtually infinite. He can go to $100 billion. You give me your wallet, and I promise in 2 days I will be back in this alley, and I'll give you $100 billion. Now you're weighing a finite loss of $20 compared to having $100 billion and being the richest man on the planet. In that scenario, according to Pascal's logic, he would give up the damn money. So if this feels like the wrong thing to do, because we know that even though there's probably a less than zero chance of that happening, it's close enough to zero that it might as well be zero. That Pascal is losing his money for no reason. So we know it's a bad bet. And because things like that are a bad bet, we know that this would be a bad bet. What's being talked about here? We shouldn't trade 80 million lives for these future lives that don't even exist yet. But there's other issues with this whole scenario. Okay. Another thing that you might consider is the fact that we can't know of these how many people there are going to be in the future. The number I gave was very optimistic, but we can't know, and we can't know what kind of problems are going to come. That these long-termists is the people that argue that we should nuke Germany in this situation. What they would fail to understand is that, besides being mugged like Pascal, is that because the future is so unpredictable and because we know some stuff we can do in the present to relieve suffering and to help people, that we should focus on what we know. And some might respond that, well, if we focus on what we know, we might miss some chances to avoid existential threats to our existence. And that's true. But we don't have to just give up and say, hey, we only focus on the present. Or we focus on these trillions of people at the expense of current people. What we could do is just set up our institutions and set up our society and work towards a society that is very strong and can just respond to a bunch of threats, even unforeseen threats. We might be in a better situation in the future to deal with existential threats if we fight to have a stronger society now that can be adaptable to various threats, even ones we can't conceive of. So right now what these long-termists would do is they would focus on threats they can conceive of, when if you focus on making a society that is adaptable and strong and technologically advanced, then you have the abilities to respond to a lot of different types of threats. So I think that's exactly how you would debunk my argument. So it's not impossible to debunk, like what's his name said, or like American Debater said, or Pavley. Is it Pavley? Pavy, or what Pavy said. It's not impossible, and usually you can figure out something. So just think hard. If you have to, Pavy, when you debate again, just ask ChatGPT, like, hey, how would I debunk this? And maybe they can come up with some ideals for you. Because every argument has weaknesses and strengths, and I listed some weaknesses of the argument I made. Good luck in your next debate.